I think it says 104th Psalm, Psalm 104. The psalm opens, "Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, you are very great. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as with a garment, stretching out the heavens like a tent." The glory of God can't be depicted. It's not uncommon for man to want images. And the world is full of them. Idolatry is built around that completely. But even among those professing to be followers of Christ, iconology and imagery of God and of Jesus and of the cross abounds. But the fact of the matter is, the glory of God cannot be depicted in an image or a photograph or a drawing or anything like that. That the closest we're going to get to grasping the glory of God is passages such as the opening of the 104th Psalm. Clothed with splendor, magnificence, greatness. There's a whole slew of potential synonyms that you could use to describe this word, but it's just talking about his immense glory, his splendor. That people talk about the splendor of a sunset or the splendor of standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon and looking at the Grand Canyon below them or any of these. It just doesn't even come close to the magnificence and greatness of God. You're clothed with splendor and majesty, he says. Stateliness, dignity. God is dignified. He's worthy of honor. There's a way in which we should think and a way in which we should behave when we approach God, when we're in his presence. I don't know if it's the case anymore. I know it used to be the case. I presume it still is the case because stuff like this doesn't change very often. But when you had an audience with the King of England, or the Queen, as it would be, whichever it was, you were never supposed to turn your back to them. You were supposed to enter facing them. You were supposed to retreat from the room without turning your back to the king. That was considered rude. They were too stately, too dignified for someone to turn their back to them. The posture which you took as you approached, the way with which you bowed, the depth of your bow, all sorts of things were defined by protocols because of the majesty. And that's why they say, Your Majesty, when they address a king, all because of the majesty of the king. God's majesty is far beyond the majesty of any man. And yet people think that we can just come before God in laziness and while we're thinking about this or that or the other. I hope that this never actually really happened anywhere, but it is a common trope on comedy shows and movies of someone sitting in the church building with a transistor radio earbud stuck to their ear listening to the game. And shouting out when someone scores and everyone thinking that it's some kind of reaction to the service. Now that's just, I don't know if it's going to help, but we can try.